Welcome to the Women's Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Pollock, Alison McConnell and Cara Henderson are here with me. Lots to talk about on the programme today. Rangers take 3 points in the Old Firm showdown. Elena Sadiku saw red. Hibs remain victorious in the Capital Cup. Glasgow City make it 3 wins on the bounce. Aberdeen started to climb that league table with a win over Dundee United, and it was a share of the points between Motherwell and Partick Thistle. Alison, let's have a look at the league table to see how things are shaping up. At the top there we have Glasgow City, Rangers, Hearts, very tight in that top section. Hibs, Celtic in 5th, Motherwell sneak into the top 6. Bottom half, Partick Thistle, Spartans, Aberdeen, and that bottom relegation section, Montrose, Queen's Park and Dundee United. Let's start with the game of the weekend, Ali. You were there. Football side of things, were Rangers worthy winners in your eyes?
Yeah, I think ultimately they were. I think over the course of the 90 minutes, I think they were the better side. I think Celtic were significantly improved in the second period. However, for that first half, I thought they were very slow to come out. I think they looked very lethargic. I think that's been a criticism across the opening months of the campaign. I think they have been quite sluggish to start games at certain points. And yeah, I thought there was an early free kick. I think it was from Charlie Devlin just within the opening minute and 90 seconds. And I thought it set a tone really for a first half where Rangers could have gone in ahead, much further ahead at the break. I think they would have been frustrated to have been pegged back. That Caitlin Hayes header just levelling things immediately before the interval. However, I thought they were probably, over the course of the piece, I think they probably were worthy of the points, albeit that Celtic, the last 5 minutes added on, were still pushing for a lever. Could have got it. I think had it ended in a point, I think both sides would have settled for it. But I do think, I think probably overall Rangers were the better team across the full game, and I think it's very interesting now. I think 4 points now it leaves Celtic behind, Rangers 5 points behind Glasgow City, and we have seen that kind of distance eaten up fairly quickly in the latter stages of campaigns. But given how tight it's been, how consistent City and Rangers have been too, I think it is significant.
Yeah, in that game, Cara, 5-goal thriller, but Chelsea, Cornet and Sorsanen and strikes, I think, were the pick of the bunch. Just absolutely fantastic hits.
Yeah, no, they were absolutely. I mean, it's great for the game as well that it's such great quality on show. And yeah, no, I thought it was a great game. Obviously, quite a lot to talk about from the game, but yeah, no, 2 brilliant strikes. And I actually thought, give my old teammate, I thought Emma Lawton's ball for Caitlin Hayes' header for the equaliser was an absolute peach as well. So, no, I thought that was a great game and great for the neutral as well to see.
Absolutely. Katie Wilkinson, 24 goals already, and we're not even halfway through the season yet.
Yeah, that's outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. She's a machine, and I think that you know, for Rangers as well, obviously we spoke many times about the goal difference. That is so important, having somebody that can put the ball in the net like that. And the penalty is just, I mean, there was no doubt, was there? It was a great penalty. So yeah, no, she's a machine, and she's definitely a headache for those playing against her.
Yeah, well, Rangers were awarded that penalty. Alison, in your eyes, was it a penalty?
I didn't think it was, I have to be honest and say I thought Shannon McGregor was probably fouled too. I think if you look at it, I think I could understand why Celtic were so aggrieved at the award against them. I didn't think it was a penalty. I would say that. I don't think it's why they lost the game, however.
Yeah, well, Jo Potter certainly agrees with the referee's call and that her side should have been awarded that penalty.
I haven't seen it back yet. Obviously, I think it's a penalty. We were aggrieved with the penalty that got given against us last game. So, you know, it comes and it goes. Sometimes you get the rub of the green, sometimes you don't. Spoken about it previously before that, you know, it can be infuriating. But I thought Charlie did extremely well to get herself between the ball and the player. And it looked like a clumsy tackle to me. So never getting anywhere near the ball. So, you know, for me, it made sense that it was a penalty. So we take it, and Wilco does extremely well to settle the nerves and stick it in.
Just moments like that, Cara, can certainly be turning points in a game, especially one with high emotions like this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think obviously it definitely could have gone either way. I think if you're Celtic, it's not a penalty. I think if it's Rangers, it is a penalty. I think it's hard to tell. But yeah, it's a big moment, and I think what she says about, you know, it calms the nerves. I think putting away a penalty, high pressure moment, it breeds confidence for your team. So yeah, no, I think given the way the game was going, it was important at that moment. But I mean, Sorsanen's free kick was just outrageous. But then again, Chelsea Cornet's winner was also outrageous. So yeah, no, I think though that it's a hard one, the penalty, because I think you'd be aggrieved either side if you didn't get it or you did get it.
Well, the drama didn't stop there, Alison. When Elena Sadiku, she was saw a double yellow, the first for disagreeing with that penalty call, the second for applauding the referee. Ironically, before you would have heard in the press conference, she said she needs to contain her emotions, but easier said than done in a game like this one.
Yeah, I think she'll be disappointed. I think it's a silly booking to get. I think having, rather than it's a really silly red, I think you can understand the reaction in a sense. You can appreciate in a game like that, emotions are running high. You can appreciate maybe overstepping the line and getting booked with whatever comments were made to the referee. However, I think then just the sarcastic applause, I think there's an argument to say it's mildly officious then to go and book her again and knowing she's just been booked, but equally it's very silly for me. I think if you're on a booking and you risk provoking another reaction and then you're sent to the stand, I don't think it's a good look either in terms of the discipline across the team. I don't think it's a particularly good look or a good message or a good example in terms of what you're portraying to the squad. And also I think she's far more effective in the dugout and overseeing things than she is at the back of a stand, desperately trying to holler instruction to players. But I think she would probably have felt a bit embarrassed about it after the game. I think she would probably have realised it's entirely avoidable.
Can it affect you as a player, Cara, when your manager's booked or sent off even? Has Brian ever been on the end of that?
We missed him for 3 games last season just after the cup final, and do you know what it does? I mean, obviously we were lucky we've got Ross and Danica who are really good staff, but yeah, obviously, you know, your manager is your driving force. It's the sort of voice that you do lean to in certain situations that you're trying to hear. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we could hear Brian actually, I can't remember particularly, but yeah, no, it definitely does affect you, but you also should be a big enough character that you go and do it for them after that's happened. But I think in a game that's such an intense as a Celtic v Rangers game, that probably the camera is at points the better for the players. But yeah, I can also totally see from her point of view the sort of reaction, because it's a high pressure moment. Like you want your manager to be invested in the game as well. You don't want them standing back kind of not interacting.
Yeah, well, Elena Sadiku was obviously disappointed with the referee, and she wasn't the only one. Lucy Ashford-Clifford gave her opinion as well.
Yeah, it's always difficult, especially when you're playing against other factors which can't really be controlled by us, but it is what it is, and hopefully next time we're going to smash them. So there are a lot of decisions, to be fair. Shocking every time it's that particular ref. So no, we've watched it back, and even Sky Sports themselves said it's a foul on Shannon McGregor, so I think that just sums it up really. Yeah, look, same the first time we played them this season, it was 2-0 up to them. Show resilience, come back 2-2. Same things happen this time. We have to go against other factors and just show what we can do. We've got a lot more games in our schedule and got not much energy left in our tank, so just keep going and keep going.
Well within our rights, Alison, to feel aggrieved at refereeing's decisions. We see it, we hear it all the time across the men and women's game, but is she treading into dangerous waters there?
Yeah, I think so. I think the heat of the moment, I think just the initial reaction, I think maybe the realisation just how big a 3 points it was to lose, and I think just feeling very, very frustrated in that moment, and I think it can sometimes be easy to deflect emotion onto the official. I think, as I said, I do think Celtic had a justifiable grievance about the penalty award. For me, I didn't think it was. However, I don't think refereeing decisions were the reason why Celtic lost the game. I thought the first half they just failed to really show the kind of spirit and energy, tempo required. I thought Rangers had them penned in for much of it. There was very, very little. It came from a couple of isolated moments, but there was very little from them in the final third until the very latter stages of that first half. And I think that has been a pattern that has emerged at times. I thought Celtic were quite fortunate against Queen's Park a couple of weeks ago, fairly turgid display too, and I think they're in a fight for the title. If they want to hang on to the championship this season, I think what you might see is them coming on a bit after the Champions League campaign finishes and they've got a bit of rest. I think you can appreciate the schedule at the minute and it's taken its toll. However, the danger for Celtic just now is that they slip so far out of the title race that it's almost too difficult to make up that ground.
Another quick point before we move on to the other games I wanted to ask you about. Caitlin Hayes, one of Celtic's arguably key players, she wasn't involved in the game against Queen's Park. or against Glasgow City. She's on the bench against Chelsea. Is there something going on behind the scenes, do we think? Is not getting along with a manager? Can that...
Well, the whispers and the speculation were that she had fallen out with Elena Sadiku, that she'd been asked to stay away. This has been denied by the club. It's been denied by Elena. She was very keen to insist that she rested her key player, one of her key players. She rested one of the internationals within the team for the game against Queen's Park and against Glasgow City. Caitlin wasn't in attendance at any of those games. She didn't participate in training up to them. However, the club have held a very firm line that it was about being rested and nothing else. And then she was rested again for the game against Chelsea. She didn't come on until just before the hour mark. Back in the fold, back in the starting lineup yesterday. I think Celtic are enhanced by having her back in the team. I think they're a stronger team for her being in there. I think probably whatever has happened, that there is now a line in the sand regarding whatever has gone on, that it's a kind of moving forward. And I think it's in everyone's best interests that has happened. I think the player needs to play, and I think Celtic are definitely a stronger team with Caitlin Hayes there.
Yeah, absolutely. Cara, let's talk about your game then. A share of the points, just edged out of the top six. Brian says in the first half it wasn't the team that he knew, but certainly showed a bit of character to change it in the second half.
Yeah, I think on the balance of the game probably we'll take a point, given how the game played out. I think that, it's probably not what either team wanted. We definitely wanted 3 points, Motherwell, because if you look below, Spartans and Aberdeen picking up wins as well, it's super, super tight. So, yeah, no, I think that looking back on the game, I think how it played out to get a point is probably a good result. But all three would have been preferable.
Yeah, in the next two games you've got Spartans and Montrose. You'll obviously be looking to pick up 6 points from those two games. Do you look that far? Do you take it in blocks, or is it the old cliche, one game at a time?
I definitely don't think. I think that looking ahead and saying that 6 points from those two teams would probably be to our downfall. I think that it's going to be two really, really tough games. We've obviously got Hibs at the weekend as well, who they'll be absolutely flying after the result yesterday. Yeah. So I think that we've got to take it week by week. I think it's more sensible to take it week by week. I don't think you can look too far in the future, because you also obviously never know what can happen with squads and stuff as well. So, but yeah, no, definitely all eyes on Hibs now, and yeah, I think it's going to be really tight. It's looking tight in terms of who can get top six, but it's also got to keep one eye on those relegation places and the teams, below us at the moment as well.
Definitely. Well, the Edinburgh Derby was underway at the weekend as well. Hibs got their own back with a victory over Hearts, 1-0. I cannot wait until we get back to the end of the season, Ali, and I hope it's as tight as this for these two head-to-heads.
Yeah, indeed. It's I think Hibs will be delighted with that, not just the fact that they go to Tynecastle and they get the win, but also just how much they've kept pace with Hearts to this season. I think after they lost 4-0, I think it was the start of September, that game at Easter Road, they had an impressive start to the campaign. There were all eyes on them to see, is this where the wheels come off the wagon? I think they stabilised, they settled, they've obviously stuck to the game plan, and I think both Edinburgh teams have invested a lot over the summer. Both of them were really keen to try and close the gap on the top three, and I think at the minute it looks like a fiercely competitive top five. I think Hibs and Hearts will probably fall away a bit from the top three as the season goes on, but what you could say is that they will definitely have a say in where the title goes, because I think they're capable, both of them are capable of taking points off the top three.
Cara, do you agree with that? Edinburgh sides will have their say this year?
Yeah, I think they've taken massive steps. I think playing against them, it's been tough, and obviously they've recruited a lot of quality, both teams, and you've already seen that they can affect the top three as well. So yeah, I definitely think it's interesting. Like, football's so funny in the way that obviously they go to Easter Road, Hearts go to Easter Road, they beat them 4-0, and then obviously now it's Hibs that have gone to Tynecastle. So it's really funny how football works, but it's good, again, making it more competitive. I think that both teams will be looking to push themselves as far as they can this year, and to be fair, I think they've got the quality that they can keep pushing. And when you look at the table, Celtic being that close to Hibs and Hearts feels bizarre to look at, but they're more than good for the points that they've got, so it makes it really, really interesting.
Yeah, Glasgow City now top of the table. Did we say, Ali, it was going to be a 3-horse race? Would we 2-horse? Did we jump too soon?
I felt it was always going to be 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it last season. It developed kind of into a 2-horse race, but no, I think Glasgow City did a lot of work this summer on and off the pitch. Obviously, Scott Booth left to go back up to Aberdeen. Aberdeen got his first league win this weekend, but Yeah, I think there was a concerted effort from Glasgow City to just have a look at what was going on and really invest and push again to go and take their title back, a title that they had enjoyed for so long and had dominated for so long.
Absolutely, 6 goals for them yesterday, Cara. As we don't really talk about this in the men's game, but in the women's game, it is such a big factor that the goal difference, is that drilled into players that, you know, it can get really tight in the table, this could be the difference between winning and losing?
Yeah, I mean, even just looking at us in Motherwell, obviously it's really tight at the moment, and we're both on, I think we've both got the same goal difference, so that, I mean, obviously they're a point ahead, so that doesn't really matter right now, but if that was to change, that's a really important part. That could be a decider. So I think it's important across, because I think the big teams, I think they always have had a ruthless streak in them, and I think also they've got the quality that they can do that to teams. I don't think it's necessarily that they go out with the intention to put 6 past Queen's Park, for example, but I think, as you said, that now it definitely will be from what happened last season. But I also think that there's a bit about that when you're looking at the score, it's a formidable thing as well, that if you're kind of squeezing past teams a wee bit, it's like, okay, maybe there's a chance that you can go and get a point or you can get a result. But when they're absolutely blowing away teams, it does make them a formidable outfit. You look at it and they've got goals all over the pitch as well, most of these teams. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that's coming more into the play at the moment, and it's difficult. It's really difficult to cope with that amount of goals, you know.
I definitely think, certainly from Rangers' perspective, I definitely think last season they felt as though they had done enough to go and win the title, and one slip against Hearts in the last month really proved costly, and I think there was a real realisation that, you know, they weren't particularly clinical in certain games, and it was this summer. You need to address that. They've brought in Katie Wilkinson, they've brought in someone who's going to score goals. I mean, you would expect her to be hitting 40, 50 goals this season, judging on where she is at the minute.
That's crazy, yeah.
And I think there was a definite identification of this is an area we need to look at. It's not just about picking up points, it's also about the goal difference. They lost a title effectively on goal difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's much more coming up at the weekend. Let's see the fixtures we've got in our hands. Aberdeen take on Hearts, Glasgow City will host Spartans, Hibs face Partick Thistle, Motherwell against Queen's Park, Rangers, Dundee United and Celtic face Montrose. Ali, what's the game pick of the weekend for you there?
I think it might actually be near the bottom of the table. Could we see them again?
Have a wee quick look.
Possibility to get them
Right.
back up again. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Hibs and Thistle might not be a bad one, and I know they had a big win over you in the Sky Sports Cup last weekend. But
we'll be looking to
that's
right
quite
some wrongs, that's
an
for sure.
interesting one.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be a good game. It's always a really good game between us, actually. I feel like there's a little rivalry sort of brewing there. But I actually was looking that we could be the pick of the weekend there.
Yeah, I think so.
Get yourselves along to Meadowbank.
Absolutely. Back on the score sheet?
I hope so.
Fingers
I'm
crossed.
choking for a goal, so yeah, hopefully.
Yep, hopefully. Well, we'll be back next week with some more action to look forward to. On behalf of myself, Ali and Cara, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.